Hi, this film is about uh, my childhood. Uh, it will be about things that went on in my childhood and brought me here. Uh, I will put myself under the microscope and in my chronicles, and I want to help people so they won't go through what I did getting to this point. Uh, Most of it is about the rare illnesses that I was diagnosed with and had difficulty getting help. Uh, the films will be about transparency, honesty, which leads to communication that uh, we can all talk about it and maybe get some understanding about it. And so subscribe, gives give me thumbs up. So the next thing is this. I'm not here to blame, to give. I'm just here to give information. I'm only aware of things that happen in my life, and that is what I will be speaking up so people can see and get help from what I did uh, to uplift myself and be healthier and a better person. So let's start with this. Uh, Headaches, trouble speaking, and trouble deciphering the written word. Okay, so when I was growing up, I was very shy. I still am. And I had difficulty communicating. And whenever I spoke around my siblings or whatever, they would, certain words I wasn't able to uh, pronounce the right way. So they would pick at me. So that made me much shyer, and it also pushed me within more. Uh, this made me very sad, and I was mostly by myself a lot when I was little. And I guess my dad saw it, and he started uh, taking me places with him and doing things with him. And I remember the first time very vividly, like yesterday. I was about, I don't know, 3, 4 years old, and he taught me how to tie my shoe. And I remember the excitement and smile in his face and mine. It was amazing. It made me feel so good. And I thank him for it. That's why he's my hero still. Okay. The next thing is this. Uh, my show is called Shout Now What? And this is because I will shout out the information and give it to the public. And it's up to the public to pass it on or to help someone down the line, like I am helping everyone right now. And that's the now what part, the information. What are you going to do with it? Okay. And my emblem is a phoenix. I chose this because for me, it represents transformation, change, yin and yang, resurrection. It shows me that no matter how far we get down, that we can rise up like a phoenix from the ashes. And with everything that happened to me, which you will see in my chronicles, that I am like a phoenix that rose from the ashes. To be honest, it amazes me. Okay, so this channel is for education, information, connection, for us to connect to each other. And it's for change. So let's get on with it to the next part. Okay, the next part is that when I was in school, and this was when the schools were, I would say, pale and brown. Our school was the brown people. And I felt safe there. And I could be myself, even though I was shy. And I had friends. And I remember my classes always got A's, A plus, 100. I was very good with words and reading. And I remember my teacher was so amazed at my reading that she went and got one of my older sisters. And that was like the buses would come to the elementary school and the drivers would wait until all of the children were off the bus. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And in that time, my teacher went to get my sister, and she came back in and she listened to me reading. And that made me feel so good. I was on cloud 9 that day. It was so amazing. And we did so much things, at that school. It was so connected. Like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to raise a family. And then it was like everybody knew everyone. And if something happened, or if a child didn't speak coming down the road and saw Miss Brown pass by, and Miss Brown had the right to stop that child and say, "Is it a problem? Why aren't you speaking to me?" Then the child would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you," or whatever. But by the time that child got home, wow, mom and dad was waiting, and the child knew something would happen. So that's a village. We were a village. Uh, Unfortunately, it's not that way today. Uh, then my bubble was burst one day when my third grade teacher told us that our school was closing and we were just going to a different school. I was too young to understand what was going on. So I got quiet and I guess I went more within myself. Uh, and then I also, too, another change was at that time, my father had bought some land and a house, and we were going to move before school started. So that confused me a little bit, made me a little scared. But when we went to our home and our land, uh, it was so beautiful and so much land. Uh, I felt like the Cartwrights. That's how much land we had. We had so much land and so many trees. It was just wonderful. I found myself smiling. And after we set up the house and everything, I remember my older sister and my brother took us around the land to show us things. And I remember these big plums, like in the grocery store now. And we just ate them right from the tree. They were so delicious. And then we found the strawberry patch. The strawberries was so sweet and delicious that we just sat under the trees and ate. And that was so much fun. I remember so clearly. And then we discovered that our land also had pecans. And I love pecans, they're so delicious. And we found it out. We had blackberries and we had apple orchard and walnuts. And let's see, we also had a creek. We would go and wade in the water when it was so hot. It was so nice and so wonderful. We were so happy. I know I was. I was so happy. And then my father bought uh, some cows, pigs, chickens, mules, uh, a John Deere tractor. You know, we had everything. It was wonderful. Uh, I remember the little chickies that was born. When he showed them to me and gave me one in my hand. And it was so soft and warm. It was amazing. And then I told him that I wanted to help, and he said, "Well, you can help me feed the chickens." So he showed me how to do it. And, I said, "Daddy, is this right?" He said, "Yeah, you're doing good." And that made me feel good. Then my father started plowing up the ground uh, to uh, plant different crops. I remember we had watermelons, green beans, uh, scallions, okra, corn, uh, you name it. Uh, he planted it, and we all helped. And when it was ready, then we'd go out and pick it up. So we didn't have to get anything from the store because also too the meat we had already there, the pigs and the cows, and my father would have one one instance of a year, maybe a pig cut up and processed. We would have pork chops and uh, ribs and all kind of meat that you could name that comes from a pig. Oh, the hams! The hams was amazing, and he would put them in one of the smokehouses, the big head hams. They was really big, and just hang them in there until it was ready to eat. And then uh, he bought a freezer so Mama could pack the food in the freezer, and also to she would can vegetables and fruits and everything. So we had that also, and everything was homemade from scratch: biscuits, cakes, you name it. Now we did go to the store to get sugar, but basically mostly that was it. It was so amazing. You know, I you know I can't describe. You have to had been there. And so then it was like the night or the week before going to the new school. So my father, he sat down and he talked to all of us and told us this is going to be a new school. And it's for the pale people, not for the brown people, us. And there was three things that he told us to remember. One was never start a fight. Two was uh, that if you wasn't able to beat that person, once they did start a fight with you, get something to help you out. He said, don't wait till they hit you first. You hit them and make sure you walk off. And he said that to make sure you finish the fight, not them. And then the next and most important thing he said was always, always look them in the eye, not hold a head down, but be proud when they're speaking to you or you speaking to them. Look them straight in the eye. That was the most important thing. And from that, I was a little confused, a little afraid, but I knew that with my older sisters and brother, that I would be okay. So, uh, when we went there and got on the bus, uh, my sister, the oldest one, let the youngest children go first. Uh, it was my youngest sister, me, my brother. He stayed behind because he was the male, and it was better. And then my oldest sister, and then the other oldest, and then my brother. When we got on the bus, oh wow, our eyes was like saucers. I had never seen so many pale people together. And they was looking at us like we were an ice cream cone. It's like, oh wow. So my sister chose where to sit. She always sat on the outside and the youngest sat on the inside. And we were all together. And she would tell, I always sat with her, and she would tell us what to do and what not to do. And I remember this little girl about in the first grade or something, and she sat up in her seat, turned around, and just stared and stared and stared, and it's like, wow, why is she staring so long? And that to me was ill mannered because we, as the brown children, we were taught better. So we just stared back at her, and she finally sat back down. But I remember those feelings. It was like so strange for us. Believe me, it was a cultural shock, you know. And so when we got to the school, we were shown where to go, uh, and everything like that, and where to sit, a homeroom, everything like that. It was like, wow. It was like being in another country, to be honest, because we didn't know what to do, what to say, how to say it. Uh, no one prepared us, only our father, and that was it. And he told us to stay together as much as possible and look out for each other, and that's what we did. Uh, and so that day, my stomach was in butterflies. It was like, oh my God. It was hard for me to understand because I was only in the fifth grade and I didn't understand, but it was obvious that my oldest sister did. And that sort of scared me. So after a while, being in this school, the harassment started. The N word, uh, pointing different things. If I was sitting in front of one, they would start kicking the chair, uh, saying things. I just ignored it. But if the teacher heard them, they would say something. And I was thankful for that. And they would give them a warning. Uh, and if not, they would send them to the principal's office, which was good. But other people, the other children, would hear it and see it, but not see it. You understand what I'm saying? And I felt that they uh, did as bad as the ones that did call us the N word. In other words, not so nice either, and kicked the chairs, that they were the same because they could have stopped it and stopped sort of, some of the harassment because uh, we didn't want to be there as much as they didn't want us to be there. We wanted our own schools, and we was doing really well, and it was awful. And because I was doing so well in my school, once I started taking the test, different tests, uh, math, English, different things like that. I noticed that I wasn't getting A's no more. I was getting C's, B's, and I said, what's wrong? I know this stuff, but I'm not doing well in these classes. Uh, and that made me sad. And none of the teachers gave me any extra help, so that I was struggling or did anything. I had to do it on my own. And my older sisters helped to explain some things to me so I wasn't struggling so bad. Uh, then, on top of the trauma of that, we, uh, our neighbors started giving us problems. Uh, I remember one day my father was taking me and my younger sister and brother to school because his job, he was a truck driver at a mill. And our school was like maybe 10 minutes down the street. So he would leave early and drop us off and then go to work. But on this day, someone had blocked the right of way across where my father couldn't get out. And I remember his face changing. And I didn't like that look because I, I knew it meant that he was angry about something. So, and he got out and he had a chainsaw. Sometimes he would carry a chainsaw in his truck. Uh, uh, then, next thing I know, I hear the chainsaw, and then, and he started cutting that tree up into pieces. And my sister and brother and I, we looked at each other and we said, wow, you know. And the next thing we know, my dad's truck was full of wood. And we thought that was so cool. We said, "Go, Dad," and we looked at him and smiled. But uh, he was still angry. And so he took the school, dropped us off, and went to work. And we were so proud of him that day. So, so proud. But then uh, it got more drastic. Uh, Unfortunately, there was like 3 attempts on our lives. Hmm. I remember one day the neighbors set fire to our land, and it was summer, and the trees and grass was extra dry. And I remember my dad calling all us together and told my sister to go get the fire department because the phone company didn't allow the brown people to have a phone land because they didn't want us there. So my sister had to take my father's truck and lead the fire department on our land. And I was so shocked. That really surprised me that someone could be so mean to do that. We got the fire out and we were safe. But my father was mad, really, really mad and upset. And when he got mad, he really didn't say much. Uh, he just, let it go. But then something happened that provoked him to action. Uh, I remember the first time was this. Uh, does anybody know about the Brahma bull? This is a big, nasty bull, mean and big. And I remember it was a white bull. Uh, a lot of times our neighbor would let out his cows. I remember there was black Guernseys and let them feed. Okay, we had cows ourselves. We wasn't afraid of the cows. Uh, and this was the right of way that we would have to walk through from my land through his land to get to the bus line. We didn't mind it, you know. We got to spend time with each other and kid and joke and you know all this and laugh. So, but on this day, it was a little bit different. I must say a whole lot different. Okay, we started walking through uh, the path, and we saw the regular cows and stuff like that. We didn't, we didn't mind. Then we saw a big blimp, white or beige, whatever. He wasn't black like the Guernseys, and he looked at us. He had these big long horns, big, big long horns, and I think I could see how angry he was. And my sister said, "Don't run. Just walk fast. So, and she said, don't look at him. And so we started a little ways past the boat. Then all of a sudden we heard him, just, you know, just a little jogging a little bit, and we could hear his big skin under his neck, plop, 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 plop. And it's like, wow. And we said, what are we going to do? My sister said, when I say run, all of you scatter in different directions. Then he started getting faster and faster. My sister said, run! We scattered. We scattered like ants. It was amazing, I'm telling you that we could move so fast. My brother went in one direction, me and my sister went in another direction, and my other two sisters went in another direction. Uh, my brother and the other two sisters got to the house faster than we did. So when we got there, we waited for Daddy to come home, and he saw that we was breathing hard and couldn't have say anything. He said, "What's going on? What happened?" You know, and we told him, and oh, the expression on my father's face, and he started. He walks fast when he gets upset, and he had a rifle and a buckshot, a rifle that shoots buckshots. So he got that rifle, got into his truck, and went to the neighbor's house and confronted him. Uh, I know this because he talked to him and told us, you know, and we were so proud of him and so happy that the neighbor didn't kill him. Then, all of a sudden, we didn't see that bull anymore when we went to school or came back. Never, 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 never. You know. And we was happy about that. Then the last attempt, not the last, but the most terrifying was when I was in I think maybe the 10th grade. And my sister was in, no, I was in the 11th grade. She was in the 9th grade, and my brother was like my baby brother, I don't know, maybe the 5th grade. And so we was coming home, and my dad was working at the mill, and my mama was working someplace too. I can't remember. And they drove together. And when we got home, coming down the hill, uh, my younger brother and sister was playing and everything like that, joking with each other and stuff. And I was sort of smiling, and I like to hear that joy. And we went through the back porch, and my mom used to leave us snacks and notes as to what to do. I would prepare the food, pick the beans, and all this and stuff like that for her to finish. But when I opened the kitchen back door, going in, I heard something go, and I looked down, I remember it so well. It was a diamond back rattler, and it was in the strike position. And I could hear my sister and brother coming in, and I said, "Stop talking. Back out and run up the hill." And they said, you just playing. And then I got very serious. I said, back up off the porch, stop talking, and run. And they saw in my face that I was serious. And they ran. I stood there in front of that snake, more, not much more than a foot. And I was praying. And I knew that if I moved too fast, that he would have struck me and I'd be dead. So I slowly moved back and moved back. I controlled my breathing, got on the porch and ran. And we stayed far away from that and waited for my dad to come home and my mom. And I told him, and he knew what had happened already. He knew that it was the neighbors and they really wanted us off the land because we were the only brown people in that Pale neighborhood. And they didn't want us there because of all the land and the animals. And back at that time, Whitney wasn't supposed to have so much. And that land probably was a lot of money. And so we told Daddy. Next 8-9-0, he got the shotgun in his truck, and we knew what he was going to do. After that, my sister got into a fight on the bus with this boy that kept harassing us. And she finished the fight. I'll put it that way. And then my brother defended me. He got into a lot of fights. And my dad would talk to him and say, we understand. I understand, but this is a chance for you to get your degree and do better. And that's what I want you to do. He said, I don't want you to keep getting into fights and I have to take off from work and lose money. And he understood. And that was that. That's how compassionate and empathetic and kind my father was. And then after a while, I saw around our school that, no N-word, no harassment, no problem at all. And come to think of it, I think that it was probably because of my brother, I'm sure, and my sister. And they probably heard about my dad confronting our neighbors and everything. And to be honest, I think they were scared because we had weapons and my dad had taught us how to use them and everything. So if anybody came on the land or tried to hurt us while he was gone, we knew how to use the rifle. And the other buckshot rifle, and the handgun, all of that. He taught us how to take care of ourselves while he was gone. But with me, I wasn't so scared because my dad was there, my mom was there, my older sisters and brother was there to protect us. And thank God uh, they was, because if God had not been there for us, for our family, I know we would not be here right now. No, 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 no. And to think back about that, makes me feel like crying, to be honest. Uh, to be sad that so many people could be so mean and didn't want us around. But some of the kids or whatever, even the adults, it's an ancestral thing. It started from their great grandparents to their grandparents to their grandparents and their parents and the kids. It just uh, just rolled down from one to another. But when it's going to stop, someone have to take initiative and say, this is wrong. But too many people want to sit back and watch, and that's wrong. Hopefully, with this stream, that it provokes some people into taking action and to pass it on in a compassionate, empathetic way of teaching, and that it could be a teaching moment at that time that they see something happening to someone. Then that will stop this vicious cycle. Uh, what I had said before, uh, that described dyslexia. I found out that I was dyslexic later in life, which causes headaches, difficulty speaking, and dyslexics, they transpose the letters and numbers, and that's what was happening when I went to this new school, but no one took the time to give me specific help that I could make better grades. Uh, Again, I don't blame that. It happened. I graduated and went on to college, and I was happy about that. Uh, but along the way, I don't know if it was the dyslexia or something else, but when I was in my 20s, I had a high temperature. Then I went into the bathroom to cool off, and I remember hitting the right side of my head and in the back and falling on the floor. And I remember I couldn't see. And so I crawled to the bathroom door, got into the hallway, and called for my parents. and they were right down the hall from the bath. And they picked me up and set me on the chair. I couldn't see. And I kept telling them, I can't see, I can't see. And so my mom felt my head and saw that I was really, really hot. And my dad said, get some cold water. And she kept wiping my face. And my dad and her just stood there for a while until I could see again. And they went to bed. The next day, my mom took me to the doctor, and they said that I had strep throat. And they saw that I had the bruises, but that I would be okay, and to watch me, so that the concussion would lead into something so that I went home and arrested. But then, as the years went by, I would do good with the speech sometimes, and then sometimes I wouldn't do well. I would have trouble stuttering and different things. And I would notice that if someone made me mad, I would literally not be able to speak at all. So I would walk off. Then I noticed, after being in ICU in 2018, I will discuss that later on in my chronicles, why. I noticed that my speech got worse. It was hard for me to form words without stuttering, taking a long time. Right now, it's not so bad, but sometimes it gets very difficult for me to speak. That's why I'm putting this first chronicle on, so people will understand the difficulty. I have appointments with neurologists, and they will check to see what's going on. To be honest, I feel that I am having petit mal seizures, and that's why sometimes I can't speak, and sometimes my eyes just bat real fast, and sometimes I forget things, and I feel that it's either the dyslexia made the neurological thing worse, or the concussion, or the visit in ICU, or all of them together exacerbated what I'm going through right now. But what has helped me is to practice my speech and continue talking. That makes things better. And I also found natural supplements to help with the speech and the neurological part of the problem. But I hope that in the future that people will understand why I have problems with my speech when I stream something. Let's see. So the conclusion is this. Uh, I will update subscribers of what's going on with the neurological appointment. Like I said, I'm going to be transparent and honest with the streams because it'll help a lot of people. And I will let you know what my doctor will do, what tests, uh, and what help he will give me with this. I'm uh, I'm looking forward to it because it, let's see, it makes me feel, I don't want to cry. It makes me feel uncomfortable with this to talk and speak to people. And some people don't understand it. But I thank God for the people that do understand it and is very kind to me. My daughter helps me a lot and encourages me, and I'm thankful for that and I appreciate it. Uh, so, subscribers, please subscribe to my streams and give me a thumbs up. And the tip for the day, which I will be given after each stream, is this: pass it on. God bless and good night. Okay, let's see.